Some people rise stronger after failure, while others remain stuck in complaints. It's not because they're luckier or more talented, but because they understand a harsh truth. Life owes you nothing. Waiting for fairness is an illusion. Complaining won't change reality. The only person who can pull you out of your struggles is you. Today, I'll tell you about Lily, a girl who once believed that hard work alone would lead to success, until life taught her a costly lesson. If you feel lost, if every door seems closed, watch this until the end, because what you're about to hear might be exactly what you need to wake up. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe and like if you're new here. It helps me keep bringing you more valuable content. Lily walked into the house, threw her bag onto the chair, and let out a frustrated sigh. Grandma Helen was making tea in the kitchen. She glanced at her granddaughter but said nothing. After a moment, she pulled out a chair, took a slow sip of tea, and asked calmly, "What is it this time?" Lily crossed her arms, staring blankly into the distance. "I'm so tired, Grandma. I worked my ass off all month, but when I asked for a day off to go to a job interview, my manager refused. It's so unfair." Grandma Helen set her teacup down and raised an eyebrow. "And you think someone is responsible for making it easier for you to leave?" Lily turned to her, annoyed. "But I've been working so hard. I'm not lazy or irresponsible. They owe me a little flexibility." Grandma Helen chuckled softly and shook her head. "No one owes you anything, Lily. You work, they pay you. That's the deal. If you want a better life, you have to go out and take it yourself. No one is sitting around waiting to help you achieve your dreams." Lily fell silent, biting her lip in thought. Grandma Helen continued, her voice warm yet firm. "I was in your shoes once. When I was young, I worked at a small restaurant, opened in the morning, closed at night. Never dared to take a day off because I was afraid of losing my job. I thought if I worked hard, my boss would notice and give me a raise. But no, a new girl came in and got promoted, not because she worked harder, but because she knew how to attract customers and increase sales. I was furious, but then I realized, if I wanted more, I had to become more valuable, not just sit around expecting things." Lily sighed. "So what should I do?" Grandma Helen smiled, her eyes gleaming with the wisdom of experience. "Upgrade yourself. Learn, train, prepare. When you're good enough, you won't need anyone's permission to move forward." Lily looked at her, then slowly nodded. That day, she understood something important. Life gives nothing for free. If she wanted more, she had to take it for herself. The next morning, Lily woke up later than usual. She didn't feel like going to work. She just lay in bed, scrolling through her phone, then buried her face into the pillow, frustrated. The unfairness of yesterday still lingered in her mind. She sighed. By now, she should have been preparing for her job interview, if only her manager hadn't been so selfish. Grandma Helen opened the door, looking at Lily still curled up under the blanket. Her eyes held no sympathy. "Are you planning to stay in bed all day?" Lily closed her eyes, mumbling, "There's nothing worth getting up for." Grandma Helen let out a small chuckle, then pulled the curtains wide open. Sunlight flooded the room, making Lily squint in annoyance. "You can lie here all day, complaining about how unfair life is, but that won't change anything. Complaining is not a plan. It's just an excuse to avoid facing reality." Lily turned over, looking at her. "But I feel awful, Grandma. I tried so hard. And you think complaining will make you feel better?" Grandma Helen crossed her arms, tilting her head. "Yesterday, you were angry because no one helped you. Today, you're making yourself useless by lying here all day." Lily stayed silent. Grandma Helen sighed, pulled up a chair, and softened her tone. "I'm not saying you're not allowed to feel bad, but there's something you need to understand. Negative emotions are like water. If you let them be, they will drown you. If you learn to control them, they will push you forward." Lily propped herself up on her elbows. "So what should I do now?" Grandma Helen smiled. "Get out of bed, make yourself a cup of coffee, and start planning again. You can complain or you can take action. It's your choice." Lily took a deep breath, then threw off the blanket and stepped onto the floor. Grandma Helen was right. Complaining wouldn't get her a new job. If she wanted change, she had to start it herself. Lily sat at her desk, staring at her laptop. The job search page was open, but she wasn't clicking on anything. A part of her still wanted to blame her circumstances, her old manager, the unfair things that had happened to her. As if reading her mind, Grandma Helen placed a cup of tea on the table. "What are you waiting for?" Lily sighed. "I don't know. It just feels like everything is against me. I want a better job, but why does it have to be so hard?" Grandma Helen pulled up a chair, her gaze thoughtful. "I once knew a man who always blamed his circumstances. When he was young, he had a stable job, but never pushed himself to move forward. Every time he failed, he blamed someone else. His colleagues didn't help him, his boss was unfair, society didn't give him opportunities. Years passed, and he stayed exactly where he was, watching others move ahead. In the end, when he realized he had wasted his life, he blamed fate." Lily looked at her, silent for a moment before asking, "Who was he?" Grandma Helen took a sip of tea and smiled. "Your grandfather." Lily's eyes widened. She had always thought of her grandfather as a strong man, but she had never heard this story before. "You know, your grandfather wasn't untalented. He was smart, capable, but he never took responsibility for his life. He let circumstances dictate his fate instead of taking control himself, and that kept him stuck forever." Lily lowered her head, feeling a deep sting in her chest. She realized she was walking down the same path. Grandma Helen placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "You can keep blaming your old boss, keep complaining about how unfair life is, or you can stand up and take control of your life. No one can save you, except you." Lily swallowed hard. She knew Grandma was right. She couldn't keep blaming others. If she wanted a better life, she had to create it herself. She turned back to the screen, took a deep breath, and started typing her job applications. This time, there was no hesitation. Lily stood in front of the mirror, turned around, and sighed. Her old suit looked plain, and there was no way she could wear it to an interview at such a big company. She picked up her phone, scrolling through discounted luxury outfits. A new suit, a pair of high-end leather shoes, maybe an elegant handbag. All of it would make her look more professional, leave a stronger impression. Grandma Helen was watering the plants on the porch. She glanced at Lily's screen and raised an eyebrow. "What are you planning to buy?" Lily didn't look up, her eyes still fixed on an expensive handbag. "I need a new outfit for my interview." "This one looks so dull, Grandma." Grandma Helen smiled slightly and set down the watering can. "Oh? And you think your outfit will decide whether you get the job?" Lily frowned. "First impressions matter. If I look polished, the employer will take me more seriously." Grandma Helen pulled out a chair and poured herself some tea. "When I was young, I once had an important interview. Back then, I was poor. I had only one old dress, nothing special. But I wore it, walked in confidently, and answered every question with certainty. They hired me on the spot, not because of my dress, but because I knew what I was doing." Lily remained silent. Grandma Helen continued. "People don't hire you because of your clothes. They hire you because you're capable. A pricey suit won't answer tough interview questions for you. It won't make you a better candidate. It's just an outer shell. And if you focus too much on it, you'll forget what really matters." Lily turned off her phone and set it down. Grandma was right. She had been wasting time worrying about appearances when what truly mattered was herself. If she was confident and skilled, it wouldn't matter what she wore. Grandma Helen smiled as she watched Lily stand up and take out her old suit to iron it. "Live simply, Lily. When you stop chasing superficial things, you'll realize just how strong you really are." Lily held her phone, staring at the email from the company she had interviewed with 3 days ago. A short, cold response. "We regret to inform you that." She didn't need to read further. Just those first few words were enough. She didn't get the job. She sank into her chair, disappointment tightening in her chest. She had put so much hope into this opportunity. She had believed that if she prepared well, if she performed strongly, she would surely get the job. But no, things didn't go as planned. And now, she just wanted to give up. Grandma Helen walked by, noticing Lily sitting there with empty eyes, and placed a cup of tea on the table before pulling up a chair. Didn't get it? Lily didn't reply. She just nodded. Grandma Helen didn't comfort her with empty words. She simply took a slow sip of tea before speaking. Failure is a part of life, Lily. Lily let out a bitter laugh, still staring at her phone. But I worked so hard. I did everything they advised, prepared well, answered confidently. And in the end, I got nothing. Grandma Helen set her teacup down and turned to Lily. And you thought success would come immediately just because you tried? Lily said nothing. I failed many times. Grandma Helen's voice was calm but firm. When I was young, I applied to a big company, just like you. I got rejected. I was furious. I thought I had done everything right, so why did others get the chance while I didn't? But then I realized, the world doesn't operate the way I want it to. It has no obligation to reward me just because I worked hard. Lily turned to look at her, the frustration in her eyes beginning to soften. Grandma Helen smiled. Pain, disappointment, these are all part of life. You can't avoid them. But you can choose how you respond to them. You can sit here and complain, or you can learn, improve, and try again. Lily took a deep breath. She knew Grandma was right. Success doesn't come instantly, and failure isn't the end. She looked at the email again, this time with a different mindset. She stood up, setting her phone down on the table. I'll try again, Grandma. Grandma Helen smiled, nodding with pride. Good, because only those who get back up after failure will ever achieve what they truly want. Lily had learned an important lesson. No one owes her anything. Complaining solves nothing. Only she has the power to change her life. She realized that superficial things don't define her value. Her skills and resilience do. Most importantly, she understood that failure is not the end. It is simply a part of the journey, a challenge that everyone must face. Looking back, Lily was no longer the naive girl who expected fairness from others or feared hardship. She accepted that life isn't easy, but she has the power to choose how she faces it. She could give up or get back up and keep moving forward. And this time, Lily chose to move forward. No complaints, no excuses, just action. Because she knew if she wanted a better life, she had to take it herself. Thank you for being here. If you found this video helpful, subscribe, turn on notifications, and like this video. Don't forget to leave a comment so we can spread positivity together.